Sham Sharadava Nalalida Loka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatvam Shamsaradava Nalalida Loka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatam Praptasya Kalyana Gurunana Vasya Vande Gurashi Charana Ravindam Praptasya Gurunana Vasya Vande Gurashi Charana Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditramadhyam Manasurasena Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditramadhyam Manasurasena Romanchakam Pasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Romanchakam Pasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shingaratanama Niramarjanado Shivigrara Dana Nityanana Shingaratanama Niramarjanado Juktasya Bhaktamsya Niyunjatopi Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Yuktasya Bhaktamsya Niyunjatopi Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Chaturvidhashi Bhagavat Prasada Satana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sanghan Chaturvidhashi Bhagavat Prasada Satana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sanghan Kridvaiva Tripte Bhajata Shadeva Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Kridvaiva Tripte Bhajata Shadeva Vande Gurashi Shirarikama Gavayara Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Namna Shirarikama Para Madhurya Lila Gunarupa Namna Pratikshana Swadhanalalupasya Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Pratikshana Swadhanalalupasya Vande Gurashi Charanaravindam Nikunjayono Ratikeli Siddhai Jayali Bhir Apekshaneya Nekunjayono Ratikeri Siddhai Jajari Bhir Apekshane Tatratidaksha ativalabhasya Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Tatratidaksha ativalabhasya Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Sakshadharitena Shamasta Shastre Uktastatha bhav Gataiva sadvi Sakhyadhari Tena Shamasta Shastre Uktastatha bhav Gataiva Kintu Prabhorja Priya eva tasya Bande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Priya eva tasya Bande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Yasya prasada Bhagavat prasada Yasya prasadam Nagati kutapi Yasya prasada Bhagavat prasada Yasya prasadam Nagati kutapi Dayam stuvam tasya Yasastrin sandhyam Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Dhyayam stuvam stasya Yasastrin sandhyam Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Dhyayam stuvam tasya Yasastrin sandhyam Vande Gurashi Charanaravrindam Dhyayam stuvam tasya Yasastrin sandhyam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravane Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Pachata Deshatarine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravane Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Pachata Deshata Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hariyaraye Nama Krishna Jadavaye Nama Hariyaraye Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govindaram Srimadhusudan Giridhari Gopina Madana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhattaraguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasaraguna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadrama Jaya Sudarshan Chakra Baladeva Subhadrama Jaya Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Sitaram Jaya Lakshman Hanuman Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Haribo 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 Nitai Gora Pramanande Haribo Jai Vishnu Para Paramansa Prabhajaka Acharya Suttara Sarasya Samad ISKCON Pratishta Vibhiti Samstapakachar Vaishnav Siramani Gaura Priyajan Krishna Prema Bhakti-data Patita Pavana His Divine Grace Abhacharvina Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ji Ki Jai Shri Gauriya Guru Varga Patita Udhari Ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Guru Sadguru Swami Prabhu Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ji Ki Jai Nantakur Vaishnavrind Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री द्वैत गदाधर शिवासारि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय जय परम दयाल से नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय प्रेम नाम संकीर्तन एक जनक प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम श्री सच्चिदानंद श्रीमान गौरांग चैतन्य महाप्रभु गौर हरि महावरण अवतार की जय गोलोकेर प्रमधान हरि नाम संकीर्तन जय की जय जुग धर्म हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय बृहद मिदांग ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेवा की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपना राधा कुंड समकुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय श्री ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन मथुर धाम की जय जलोश विशेष नीलमाधव की जय श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप एक चक्रधाम की जय परम करुण श्री गौर निताय की जय श्री पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय श्री श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी बलदेव प्रभु सुभद्रा देवी सुदर्शन चक्र भगवान की जय भक्ति सर्व विघ्न विनाशना कर सिंगरे भगवान की जय गंगा माय जमुना माय की जय तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी भक्ति देवी की जय बोलो श्रीमती राधारानी की जय समवेत भक्त बिंद की जय निताय गौरी प्रमानंद हरि बोल all glories to the Son of the Lord all glories to the Son of the Lord all glories to the Son of the Lord All glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga. Gaura Premanandi.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narayana.
Praladadayini. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shrilatam Kanakhalaye. Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho. Yato yato yami tato Narsimho.
Jato jato jami tato
Narsimho.
Nisimha.
Bahir Narsimho Hrudaye Narsimho.
Bahir Nisimha Hrudaye Nisimha.
Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade.
Narasimhamadim Sharanam Prapade.
Tava Kara Kamalavare Naka Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Brunga Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare.
Tava Kara Kamalavare Naka
Adbhuta Shringa
Dalita Hiranyakashipu
Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare.
Jai
Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jai Jagadisha Hare. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Simha Dev. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Jayo Narasimha Dev. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Jayo
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj. Jayo Prahlad Maharaj. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. प्रभुपा जय जय प्रभुपा 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 जय जय प्रभुपा जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव
जय गुरुदेव
गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव। भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा स्वामी भगवान की जय।
जय
भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।
श्री वृंदाई तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रादि देवी सतवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रादि देवी सतवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाय तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय केशव सत्य कृष्ण भक्ति प्रादि देवी शतवताय नमो नमः। जय श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः
तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः।
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्णा प्रेयसी नमो नमः
तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः।
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाबो अभिलाषी
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो अभिलाषी
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाबो अभिलाषी
राधा कृष्ण सेवा पावो अभिलाषी
जे तुम्हारा शरण लो तारा वंचा पूर्ण हो
जे तुम्हारा शरण ला तारा वंच पूर्ण
कृपा कोरी कोरो तारे वृंदावन वासी
तुम्हें कृपा करे करा तरे वृंदावन वासी।
मोराए अभिलाष विलास कुंज दियो वास
मोराए अभिलाष Aminayane Vivosada Jugala
निवेदाना धारो साखीर अनुगाता कोरो
Aini Vedana Dara Sakirayano Gatakara
सेवा अधिकारा दिए कोरो निज दासी
Seva Yare Kara Diye Kodo Nijadasi
दीना कृष्ण दासे कोई ये न मोरा होए
Dina Krishna Das Koe Namora
श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेम सदा ये न भासी
Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadaye Navasi
श्री राधा गोविंदा प्रेम सदा ये न भासी
Shri Radha Govinda Preme Sadaye Navasi
नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः
Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namah
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
Jani Kani Sapapani Brahma Hatyari Kanisa Tani Tani Pranasanti Pradakshina Pade Pade
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
Jani Kani Sapapani Brahma Hatyari Kanisa Tani Tani Pranasanti Pradakshina Pade Pade
यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्माहत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रनाशन्ति प्रदक्षिण पदे पदे
Yani Kani Sapapani Brahma Hatyari Kanisa Tani Tani Pranasanti Pradakshina Pade Pade
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी जय तुलसी महारानी
Jaya Tulsi Maharani Jaya Tulsi Maharani Tulsi Maharani Jaya Tulsi Maharani
जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी जय वृंदा देवी
Jaya Brinda Devi Jaya Brinda Devi Vrinda Devi Jaya Vrinda Devi.
Nityai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nityai Gaura Hari Bol,
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की
जय। श्री वृंदाई तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय के सब सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रादे देवी शतवताय नमो नमः। वृंदाई तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय के सब सत्य विष्णु भक्ति प्रादे देवी शतवताय नमो नमः। वृंदायै तुलसी देवाय प्रियाय के सभा सत्य कृष्ण भक्ति प्रादे देवी शतवताय नमो नमः। जय श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की जय। O Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire to obtain the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you has wishes fulfilled. Bestowing your mercy upon him, you make him a resident of Vrindavan. My desire is that you also grant me a residence in pleasure groves of Shri Vrindavan Dham. Thus, within my vision, I will always behold the beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower of Kaveh Damsels of Raj. Please give me the privilege of devotional service and make me your own maid servant. This very fallen and lowly servant Krishna prays. May I always swim in love with Shri Radha and Govinda. Shri Mati Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikhastakam ki jai. Chaito Darpanamajanam Pavamada Vagni Nirvapanam Shreyakari Chandrika Taranam Vidyavatu Jivanam Anandam Varivardhanam Patipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnam Param Paramijayati Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Vaudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Shmarena Kalam Ekadasi Abhakipayam Bhavanamati Durdhaivam Idrishamiyajani Nanuragaha Trinadapi Sunichainam Tarorapi Saishnuna Amani Namayanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Na dhanam na janam na sundarim Kavitamba jagadisha kamaye Mama janmani janmanishwari Bhavatar bhaktir ituki tvai Ainanda tanuja kinkaram Paritamam vishrame bhavambudau Kripaya tava pada pankaja Stita dhuli sadrusham vichintaya Nayanam galorashru dharaya Vadanam gadagadarudhaya gira Pulakairinchitam vapukada Tavanama grahane bhavisyati Jugaitam nimishena Chakshusha pravrushaitam Sunyaitam jagata sarvam Govinda virahe name Asli shabhapadaratam pinashtumam Adarshnan marmahatam karotuva Jatha tatava vidadhatu lampato Mat pranatastu saivana paraha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikhastakam ki jai. Namo Mahavarannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishnu Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Shmate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivrishesha Shrunavadi Vatsatari Satarine. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years, and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which you are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by holy names, but I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. Once you chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself a Lord on straw in the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I've fallen in this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, nor will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name. Nor will my voice choke up, nor will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and it should remain so, even if he sandals him rightfully by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Kam Ki Jai. There are 10 offenses in matter of chanting the holy name of the Lord that should be avoided. They are as follows. 1. To blaspheme the devotee whose dedicated life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance of Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are often Vedas as fruitive activity, karma, kanda. 9. To instruct the faithless person about the glories of holy name. And 10. To not have complete faith in chanting the holy names and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must carefully guard against 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Now let us offer our most humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like desire trees, they can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripasindubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Vaishnava Thakur ki jai. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhakti Srimati Bhaktivinoda Swami Namaste Shri Guru Pranama prayers ki jai. Om Aganya Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manubhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Jitahapachikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha
Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Ragunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaguna Lalita Shri Vishaka Nimitam Sha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Vasuvani Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyana Dayane Prabhave Namaha Madhur Ujwala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudapa Apasadanta Dvantaharine Namo Gora Kishoraya Sakshar Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambara Sambodhe Padamba Jayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidananda Namine Gora Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gauravir Baba Bhamestwam Nirdesta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Savabhama Sri Jaganatayate Namaha Vachakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Guru Chuse Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakam Namami Bhakta Saktikam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Suratur Bhangur Mama Manda Mataya Gati Matsarva Swapadam Bhujo Radha Madan Mohano Divyadvindaranya Kalpadrimadaha Shimad Ratnagara Simhasanastiro Shimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prastali Bihi Sevyamano Smarami Shiman Rasa Rasaram Divam Sivata Tatastita Karsan Venus Swaner Gopir Gopinatak Striyestuna Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vishapanustute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Brahma Samhita Ki Jai Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachitananda Vigraha Nadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksavrite Surabi Ravi Palyantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambrama Sevyamanam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Venum Konantam Aravinda Dalayataksam Parharvatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Kotikamaniya Vishesha Sobam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandrika Salas Navagamban Siratnam Gadam Pranaya Keli Kalavilasam Shamam Chiragam Lalita Prakasam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendri Rittimanti Pasyanti Panti Kalyanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupa Adyam Purana Purisham Navayoganam Cha Vedes Durlabam Alut Mahatma Bhakto Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Pantashtakoti Satavatsara Samprakam Yovayora Tapi Manasomuni Pungamana Sopyasti Yat Prapalisim Yabichinti Tatve Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Ekopya Sora Chaitam Jagaranda Kotim Yas Jakti Rasti Jagaranda Chaya Yadanta Adanta Rasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yash Bhava Bhavita Video Manajasta Taiva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasana Mayana Bhusa Suktarya Meva Nikama Pratitestuvanti Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasapati Bhavita Vista Birya Evani Chirupa Taya Kalabi Koloka Evani Visata Kilatma Bhuta Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Pramanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochana Santaksa Deva Hidayasa Vilokanti Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murti Sukalani Menitistan Anavatar Makarod Bhuvanesha Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramampamam Yo Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhuta Jagaranda Koti Kotis Vasesa Vasudadi Vibhuti Bino Tad Brahmanis Kalamananta Masesa Bhutam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Mayahi Yasya Jagaranda Satani Sute Trigunya Tad Visaya Veda Vitayamanam Sattva Valambi Parasatvam Visuddha Sattvam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Rasat Mataya Manasu Yapraninam Pratifalam Smaratam Vipretya Lila Yatena Bhuvanani Jaya Jasram Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Goloka Namni Nijamni Talechatasya Devi Maheswari Dhamma Sute 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 Te Prabhavani Jaya Vitascha Yena Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shistista Te Pralaya Sada Vasakti Reka Chayevi Yasya Bhubalani Vibharti Durga Ichana Rupam Abhyasya Chitesta Tesa Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shiram Yata Dadi Vikara Vishesha Yoga Sanjayate Naita Taprita Kastedu Yasambhutama Pitta Tastam Paitikar Yat Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Departure Vita Santanam Abhyupetya Dipayate Vitahetu Samana Dharma Yastadrikevi Vishnu Tayavi Bhati Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yakarna Narna Vajale Balisisma Yoga Nidrama Nanta Jagadanda Suroma Kupa Adhara Sakti Mavalambya Paramsama Tim Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyaikani Svisita Kalamata Avalambya Jivanti Loma Vidaja Jagadanda Nata Vishnu Mahansa Yasya Kalavisesa Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Basmanya Tasma Sakalesini Jesu Tejas Sriyam Kiyat Prakatayata Pitat Pratatra Brahmaya Isa Jagadanda Vidanu Karta Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Pada Palavigam Vinidaikum Badwande Pranama Samayesa Ganadi Raja Vignan Vihanta Malamasya Jagatrayasya Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Agnir Mahika Ganamambu Maruti Sasya Kalasta Tatma Manasiti Jagatrayani Yasmad Bhavanti Vibhavanti Visanti Amcha Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yaschak Suresa Savita Sakalagrahanam Raja Samasta Sunamurti Steja Yasyagaya Brahmati Sambrita Kalachakra Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Dharmota Papa Nichaya Sutayasta Pamsi Brahmadi Kita Patakava Testa Jiva Yadata Matri Prakatapa Bhava Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yasmindra Gopa Matavendra Mahosva Karma Bandana Rupa Falabhajana Matanoti Karmani Nita Haditin Tirubhakti Bhajam Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Yam Kroda Kama Saraja Pranayadi Biti Vatsalya Mo Gurugora Visevi Bhava Sanchinti Tasya Sadricintanam Apurita Govinda Madi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purisha Kalpatarva Jumabu Mishchitama Hekanama Eto Amritam Kataga Anam Natyam Gamanama Pivam Sipriyasaki Chiranandam Jyoti Parama Pitasa Swasyam Apichasa Yatrashiradi Bisravadisharabi Bias Chisumahal Mes Dardarkyu Vavajati Nahiya Trapisamaya Bajay Swita Dupam Tamaham Ihagola Kamitiam Udanta State Santakshiti Virachara Katipaya Guru Vastika prayers Ki Jay. The spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy, just as the cloud pours water on the fire tried to extinguish it. So the spiritual master delivers a material afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. Out of my respectful basis unto lotus feet, of such spiritual master is an ocean of auspicious qualities, chanting a holy name, dancing in ecstasy, singing and playing musical instruments. The spiritual master is always gladdened by the Sankirtan movement. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is relishing the melodies of pure devotion within his mind, sometimes his hair stands on it. He feels quivering in his body, and tears fall from his eyes like waves. Off my respectful basis unto lotus feet is such spiritual master. The spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Shri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. He dresses these in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. Off my respectful basis unto lotus feet is such spiritual master. The spiritual master is always offering Krishna four kinds of delicious food, analyzes that which is lit, drunk, and sad. When the spiritual master sees that the devotees are satisfied by eating Bhagavad Prasada, he is satisfied. Off my respectful basis unto lotus feet is such spiritual master. The spiritual master is always eager to hear and chant about the unlimited conjugal pastime of Radhika and Madhava and the qualities, names, and forms of the spiritual master as far as the relatives at every moment. From my respectful basis unto the lotus feet is such spiritual master. The spiritual master is very dear because he is expert in assisting gopis who at different times make different tasteful arrangements for the perfection of Radha and Krishna's conjugal loving affairs within the groves of Vrindavan. From my most humble based on the lotus feet, such spiritual master. Spiritual master to be honored as much as supreme Lord because he's the most confidential servant to the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore, from my respectful based on the lotus feet, such spiritual master is a bona fide representative of Sri Hare Krishna. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna without the grace of the spiritual master. One cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master at least 3 times a day. I should offer my respectful based on the lotus feet of my spiritual master, his divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shrimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tate Vayam Loka Shirikshayadya. Trayanurushristastribhir Atmabhisma. Sarve Viyukta Swavihara Tantram Nasaknumastat Pratiharta Vete. Tat, therefore, te, your, vayam, all of us, loka, world, sistrikshaya, for the sake of creation. Adya, O original person. Tvaya, by you. Anusrishtas, being created one after another. Tribihi, by the three modes of nature. Atmabi, by one's own. Sma, in the past. Sarve, all. Viyukta, separated. Swavihara tantram, the network of activities for one's own pleasure. Na, not. Saknuma, could do it. Tat, that. Pratihartave, to award. Te, unto your. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O original person, you are therefore but yours only. Although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature. And for this reason, we are separated in action. Therefore, after the creation, we could not act concertedly for your transcendental pleasure. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The cosmic creation is working under the influence of the three modes of the external potency of the Lord. Different creatures are also under the same influence, and therefore they cannot act concertedly in satisfying the Lord. Because of this diverse activity, there cannot be any harmony in the material world. The best policy, therefore, is to act for the sake of the Lord. That will bring about the desired harmony. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The original person, we are therefore but yours only. Although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature, and for this reason we are separated in action. Therefore, after the creation, we could not act concertedly for your transcendental pleasure. So the key word here is concertedly. It means acting in concert. Acting in concert means acting harmoniously, acting without arguing, acting without jealousy, acting without envy, acting without a personal motive or agenda, but acting according to Krishna's agenda. So that then people can act concertedly, harmoniously, cooperatively. So this acting cooperatively is a big subject. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said a lot about it. He says in a letter on 16th of September 1967 in Delhi, Krishna is always with us, within our hearts, and He is always ready to give us direction. But because everyone is independent, Krishna responds cooperatively. Anyone who voluntarily cooperates with Krishna's desire, he responds to his call very eagerly. Krishna descends to teach us Bhagavad Gita, begging our cooperation, and anyone who cooperates with him becomes blessed. Then again, on 14th of November 1975 in Bombay, Sri Prabhupada said, this book distribution, that was my Guru Maharaj's purpose. He said that I have got so many temples, and now in Calcutta I have got a marble temple, but I would have wished that if by selling the marbles I could publish and distribute books. Now, by the mercy of His Divine Grace, Sri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, I, meaning Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, am doing both by the cooperation of my American disciples. I am constructing so many marble temples, and I am distributing so many books on Krishna consciousness. It's all based on cooperation. Right? Then again, he says, on 13th of March 1968 in San Francisco, I have got very good impression of the temple in San Francisco, and both you and Mukunda may bring up the Los Angeles temple to the same standard. Don't be depressed because there is no sufficient audience at present. But if you continue your service, all in cooperation, in very near future, it will be a nice center. This is the letter on the 13th of March, 1968. Next, in the 9th September 1972, my God brothers always discouraged me, But I did not give up. I am doing my duty and always keeping my spiritual master in front. Even there is some difficulty or hardship, or even my god brothers may not cooperate, or there may be fighting. Still, I must perform my duty to my spiritual master and not be discouraged and go away. That is my weakness. Actually, that is his strength. And then in the 27th of September 1974, Prabhupada said, go on cooperating in this way, and I am sure this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be successful. It must be successful because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted it to be done. Simply we, the workers, the servitors, must be very sincere. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will give us more and more facilities so that we can work very well. So keep this mission always in view and do your best. That is my only request. And then in the 13th of February 1969, I am glad that everyone at your temple is working hard and in full cooperation for keeping the temple nicely and spreading our movement as far as possible. This should be our motto. We have so many things to do for improving our Krishna consciousness movement. And I am so glad to learn that there is a newspaper report wherein it is said, Krishna chants startle London. Please send me at least one copy of the paper immediately. I want to read it. It sounds very much encouraging. This is a letter on the 13th of February 1969. Then again on the 22nd of May 1969. I am glad that you are so willing to be engaged in Krishna consciousness. I am very much obliged to you for your appreciation of my humble services by bringing to your country this movement. But actually it all depends upon your cooperation, because some of the intelligent boys and girls have taken this philosophy seriously. Therefore, push it on and on. Letter 22nd May 1969. So whenever there are devotees that don't want to cooperate, that's because they're jealous and envious. And there are many jealous and envious people in this world. They don't want to cooperate. And then in the 22nd of January 1973, yes, Prabhupada says, that is everywhere, even in our society, Krishna conscious society. If there is no mutual cooperation, then it will fall down immediately. So as Rupa Goswami advises, the first thing is enthusiasm. And this is a Nectar Devotion lecture, 22nd January 1973. Then again on the 15th of February 1972 in Madras. I am very much pleased to know that we shall be raising up a nice center now in Vrindavana and also in Bombay. So Krishna has been very kind upon us. Now let us all work cooperatively and with full enthusiasm to do the needful. And then the 17th of June 1973 in Mayapur, Krishna is always ready to help us, provided we are also ready to cooperate with him. If we cooperate with him, what Krishna desires, if we want to do little, immediately Krishna will help you. If you work 1%, Krishna will help you 10%. Again, if you work 1%, Krishna will help you another 10%. But the cent percent credit you get by the help of Krishna. Krishna gives you intelligence. Tesam satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. Buddhi yogam dadamitam. Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, 17th June 1973 in Mayapur. Then again, Prabhupada said, actually, I am the most unworthy servant of His Divine Grace, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because I delayed to execute His order by so many years. But it was better I began late than never, and therefore He has kindly sent to me so many young hearts to cooperate with me in this great movement. Please, therefore, continue your good cooperation, and I am sure great things will happen without delay. May 6, 1970. So, a pure devotee like Prabhupada sees his disciples as agents of his guru that have been sent to help him accomplish the mission of his guru. And that's a very transcendental vision, right? And he states it right here. Now, on August 1st, 1966, Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada, meaning his guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, wanted us to do everything in complete cooperation. And thus, I am inclined to have full cooperation in this great attempt of preaching in the foreign countries. All the camps of our various camps may at least cooperate in the matter of special activities, and I may be able to provide any number of men who may be now inclined to come here and work under my direction. Then, in the 4th of September, 1975, he wrote, because you are all cooperating with me, so much has been done. When I was alone, I was taking so much trouble, but now there are so many assistants. But now you have to manage things very carefully and relieve me from the management so I can translate my books. And then again, in the 4th November 1975, by the mercy of His Divine Grace, Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, I am doing both by the cooperation of my Americans. I'm doing both, that is, activities, that is, preaching and translating and so forth. By the cooperation of my American disciples, I am constructing so many marble temples, and I am distributing so many books on Krishna consciousness. This does not mean that I am excelling my Guru Maharaj, but it is the mercy of my Guru Maharaj that he is giving me the facility for doing both. 4th of December 1975. Then 9th September 1969. Every gentleman in your country is anxious about their children, and gradually, if the richer section of the people or the government cooperates with us, we can expand this movement for total welfare of the younger generation. This calculation is only one side of the picture. The other side of the picture means the solution of the eternal problem. What's that? The eternal problem is birth, death, old age, and disease. Then 9 September 1969, every gentleman in your country, okay. Next is the 23rd of May, 1969. I am prepared to cooperate with the Gaudiya mission in all respects, but I do not know under what condition you wish to cooperate with me. But I am prepared to accept any condition for getting your cooperation in full. So I shall be glad to know from you under what condition our cooperation is possible. But I am prepared in every respect, and I shall await your reply with interest. So Prabhupada was really trying to get his godbrothers to cooperate with him, and he cooperate with them to spread Krishna consciousness, not to be what you would call temple, living comfortably in the temple. He wanted to expand the movement like his Guru Maharaj asked him. And all of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples had received the same instruction to expand the movement. And he especially wanted it to be expanded in the English-speaking world. And that's what Prabhupada did. And his gurus and his godbrothers did not really help him do it at all. In fact, they tried to destroy what he was doing. Then, on the 4th of July, 1970, that is my joy, that we have now a sampradaya, a party of Lord Chaitanya in the Western countries. That is my success, that's all. I have no value, I am insignificant, but somehow or other, you cooperated, and you are still cooperating, and you are still cooperating as Lord Chaitanya's sampradaya. That is my life. The festival lecture, 4th of July, 1970 in San Francisco. And then, 23rd of January, 1975, it was not possible for me to spread in so short time, only 7 or 8 years, to preach this cult all over the world. So I require the cooperation of the Indian, especially young men, educated men. Come forward, stay with us, study Bhagavad Gita. We haven't got anything to manufacture, nothing to manufacture. And what we can manufacture, we are all imperfect. Whatever is there, let us study it and practically apply in life and spread the message all over the world. There you see, Prabhupada wants to spread this Krishna consciousness all over the world. And then on the 25th of January 1969, I wrote to Krishna Prasad Bhargava about these murtis for free donation. As you know, I am trying to establish many temples of Shri Shri Radha Krishna in the Western world. I think that devotees of Lord Krishna in India should come forward and cooperate with my missionary activities. Then again on the third, in a lecture, on the third canto, 21st chapter, 31st verse. The second-class devotee is always cognizant of his position as an eternal servant to the Lord. He therefore makes friendships and with devotees of the Lord, acts compassionately toward the general public in teaching them devotional service, and refuses to cooperate or associate with non-devotees. Whoa. Both the king and the subjects were happy in the discharge of worldly duties, and thus protection of the citizens and enjoyment of natural life, with full cooperation of material nature, followed in the reign of Maharaj Yudhisthira and his worthy descendants like Maharaj Parikshit. So, when we are happy executing our duties in Krishna consciousness, what are those duties? You know, waking up early, coming to Mangala Aarti, chanting rounds, you know, doing kirtans, and worshiping the deities, taking only Mahaprasadam, and going on Sankirtan, regularly hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and preaching, etc. Then what happens? These are the duties. And we also have duties to take care of family and children and educate them properly and help them become Krishna conscious. There's so many duties. And thus protection of the citizens and enjoyment of natural life with full cooperation of material nature. So if we do our duties properly and in cooperation, then you can expect that you'll be protected by Krishna and you'll be able to enjoy a natural life. Natural life means you grow your own food, you care for cows, you protect. You live very simply, no luxurious things, and you chant Hare Krishna. So then you'll be protected and enjoy natural life with full cooperation of material nature. Now you get not only the cooperation of devotees, you have the cooperation of material nature. That means the weather, that means the changing of the seasons, that means so many things, good digestion, healthy heart, all these things. These are all part of nature, right? So you get the cooperation of nature. And all these things followed in the reign of Maharaj Yudhisthira and his worthy descendants like Maharaj Parikshit, because he had a saintly king and he helped everyone become Krishna conscious. Therefore he had a saintly country and everyone was happy and everyone achieved the goal of life, which is to develop love and attachment to Krishna. Then, in the third canto, 5th chapter, 4th verse, the Gyanis, yogis, and karmis cannot expect this direct cooperation of the Lord. They are not able to satisfy the Lord by transcendental loving service, nor do they believe in such service to the Lord. The bhakti process, as performed under the regulative principles of Vaidhi bhakti or devotional service, following the prescribed rules and regulations, is defined by the revealed scriptures and confirmed by great acharyas. So, here we see that the Gyanis, the yogis, and the karmis cannot expect the direct cooperation of the Lord. The secret, therefore, is because they're not able to satisfy the Lord. Right? They don't satisfy the Lord by eating meat engaging in illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, or by teaching half or false theories, right? Like there's nothing beyond Brahman. There's no Vaikuntha, there's no Goloka. And Krishna, when he comes in the material world, he comes in a material body. And the material world is illusory. It's an illusion. It's not real. And your individuality is an illusion. It's not real. You have to deny your individuality to merge into Brahman. These are all false theories proliferated by so-called spiritualists, jnanis, yogis, and so-called karma yogis, but they're not really functioning properly. Then, 3rd Canto, 22nd chapter, 4th verse. The entire social structure of Varna and Asrama is a cooperative system meant to uplift all the highest platform of spiritual, or meant to uplift all to the highest platform of spiritual realization. The Brahmanas are intended to be protected by the Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriyas are also intended to be enlightened by the Brahmanas. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.22.4. Then Aitareya Upanishad 1.1.1-2. The entire cosmos is created by Durga in cooperation with Lord Vishnu in the form of Kala, time. Sa ikshita lokan nusrija, sa ima lokan asrijata. This is the version of the Vedas. So it's this cooperation of Durga Mata with Lord Vishnu. The entire material cosmos is created. So you see what you can do when you cooperate. You can create an entire world. The entire, in the 3rd Canto, 29th chapter, 35th verse. A living entity who wants to enjoy on his personal account and not cooperate with the Supreme Lord is engaged in materialistic life. As soon as he dovetails his enjoyment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is engaged in spiritual life. So, we have to cooperate with Krishna. We have to cooperate with the devotees. We have to cooperate with spiritual authorities. And then nature cooperates with us. Krishna cooperates with us. Everything successful works cooperatively, and everything unsuccessful works when people have personal agendas and refuse to be cooperative. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.29.35. A living entity wants to enjoy on his, Srimad Bhagavatam 3.14.17. A faithful wife is supposed to cooperate with her husband in fulfilling all material desires so that he can then become comfortable and execute spiritual activities for the perfection of life. If, however, the husband is progressive in spiritual advancement, the wife undoubtedly shares in his activities, and thus both the wife and the husband profit in spiritual perfection. So, the wife has to cooperate in material activities, and husband should cooperate together in spiritual activities. And of course, the husband is cooperating also. He cannot be antagonistically related to his wife. He has to be cooperatively and friendly related with his wife. Then Srimad Bhagavatam 3.27.1, avikara means without change. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that each and every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and thus the living entity's eternal position is to cooperate or to dovetail his energy with the Supreme Lord. That is his unchanging position. That's his eternal position. So if we don't cooperate with Krishna, we're not acting in our eternal position or our constitutional position as part and parcel of Krishna. That is never annihilated. We will always be part and parcel of Krishna, but we can refuse to cooperate with Krishna, and then we are put under the control of Durga Mata. Okay. All right, so therefore, when it says acting concertedly, it means acting in concert or acting cooperatively together. This is the formula for the success of a temple, when everyone works cooperatively with the leaders of the temple, and of course the leaders of the temple have to be qualified to lead, right? But when they are, and people cooperate, miraculous things happen, wonderful things happen, because then you get Krishna's cooperation, you get Maya's cooperation, you get nature's cooperation. See? But what hinders the cooperation? Well, it's explained in the verse today. It says, O original person, O Krishna, we are therefore but yours only. In other words, we belong to Krishna. Our body belongs to Krishna. Our soul belongs to Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Although we are your creatures, we are born one after another under the influence of the three modes of nature. And for this reason, we are separated in action. In other words, they refuse to cooperate, or we refuse to cooperate, because we're influenced by Satya, Rajas, and Tamas. We're not influenced by love for Krishna. Okay. The best policy, therefore, is to act for the sake of the Lord. That will bring about the desired harmony. So, best thing is to cooperate with Krishna. What is Krishna's desire? Well, let's hear what is Krishna's desire. 18th chapter, 67th and 68th verse. 68th and 69th verse. Ya idam paramam guyam mad bhakti abhidasyati bhaktim maya param kritva mam evaisasya samsaya. For one who explains this supreme secret, meaning Bhagavad Gita, to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Natatasman manusyesu kaschit me priyakritama bhavita nachame tasmad anya priyataro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than the one who teaches Bhagavad Gita to others, especially devotees. Nor will there ever be one more dear. So this is a direct order by Krishna. Direct order. And the other direct order, Sarvadharmam Parityaja Mamekam Saranam Braja Aham Tvam Sarvapapebhyo Moksisami Masachaha. Abandon all varieties of religion, these meaning the self-interested religious activities, and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So this is a direct order by Krishna, as is at the end, so 1866. So, and then another direct order, Man manabhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam ivaisi satyam te pratijani priyosme, 1865. He says, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage or respect unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So here, these are all direct orders of the Lord, right? And if we cooperate with these, the Lord's desire, then he cooperates with us. He cooperates with us more than what we cooperate with him. So if we cooperate 1%, he'll cooperate 10%. But the question is, are we willing to cooperate with the Lord? Most people are not, because their selfish desire for sense gratification and to dominate some part of material nature and exploit nature and people. Okay. And Prabhupada says in the purport to 1865, he says, the most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. There it is. That should be our motto. Okay? It's the first couple of lines of 1865. I don't know if we've written that. I don't think we've written that before. Yeah, see? Right in the beginning, the most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of the Lord, where he will be engaged in the association with Krishna face to face. This is the most confidential part of knowledge. Good. Okay, so now we're going to go back to what we were discussing yesterday, and we haven't finished discussing it. That's 10th chapter, 4th and 5th verse, which is very, very important. So, yesterday we discussed just a few things. What is real intelligence? What is, what is knowledge? Yeah. And then what is freedom from doubt and delusion? And what is truthfulness? Okay. Huh?
And we also talked about Shama, tolerance.
Right. Okay, so next is Bhava. Oh, Sukham.
Even truthfulness, we stopped after Shama.
Okay. Well, the truthfulness means that the social convention is Satyam Briyat Priyam Briyat. Only speak the truth when it's pleasing to others. But Prabhupada says, but that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. So this rule, Satyam Briyat Priyam Briyat, is not actually truthfulness. Only speak the truth when it is pleasing to be heard by others. However, you should speak the truth in a straightforward way, not to hurt anyone, but to explain the facts as they are, right? So you shouldn't be deceptive when you speak the truth. You should be honest, but you should not be honest with a sting, like to hurt someone. Huh?
There is a saying in our Hindi, "Sach hamesha karwa hota hai." So that's
Okay, say it very slowly so we can understand what it is. We don't understand what you said.
so in the
Say
Hindi,
it slowly. Say the Hindi slowly.
yeah. So in Hindi there is a saying called "Sach hamesha
So Sach means the truth.
truth."
Sach
Me-
what?
Sach hamesha. Hamesha means always.
Sach Hamesha, okay.
Yeah. Sach hamesha. Kadwa.
Karva, which
Kadwa means bitter.
means bitter.
Hota hai means it's
Kota
bitter.
hai.
Yeah, always. Yeah. So
Hota hai.
yeah.
Okay, so write that down and give it to me.
So that means, but that is, and always they says that, right? I mean,
What?
so this is always a confusion, like what you said, and Prabhupada is saying, like other devotees also they're saying that you should be speaking, which is pleasing to others always. As a devotee or Vaishnava, you should not hurt anybody. But here
But
we
you
are
have to speak the truth. And sometimes the truth is...
that is why I can bring that to saying or proverb, right? Is always when you speak is always like harsh sometimes. Not always, but most of the time is harsh.
No. There's a difference between speaking the truth to help someone and speaking the truth to hurt someone. There's a difference between the two. We don't want to hurt someone. We want to elevate someone. So you have to speak the truth in a factual way, not sugar-coated.
But
Right.
it ends up hurting someone.
What?
But it ends up hurting someone sometimes.
It depends how you deliver it. You say, "Oh, hey, you know, I got something to tell you, man. You're a real jerk." You know, you don't want to speak like that, right? You have to have compassion when you speak, but you have to tell the truth. So it says, the truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief, and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Right? Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth.
There is also in the 17th chapter, 15th verse,
Yeah?
the austerity of the speech.
Yes. Yeah.
I think
It has to be uplifting.
yeah, it says truthful, pleasing, beneficial, not agitating to others,
Yes.
and then based on the scriptures.
Based on the scriptures. Yeah, that's the main thing. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. Yeah. But in the purport is another warning to the devotees. That is, one should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. See? You don't want to agitate their mind. You want to instruct them. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students. But such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. So, the teacher can severely, let's say, correct a disciple. It depends on the severity of the misbehavior of the disciple, but he can severely tutor the disciple. But he shouldn't do that to someone who's not his disciple, because it just agitates the mind of the person. Whereas when you're severely corrected by the guru, that's the love of the guru. And you should be happy. You should be happy that Guru is taking the time to tell you, look, this was a serious offense, and you should never do this again. Right? That means the Guru loves you. Right? But if he does the same thing to someone who's not a disciple, they'll take it in the wrong way. They say, "Oh, you insulted me. How dare you talk to me like that?" So you just agitate their mind. So you have to be careful. So besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. Okay. So here at Prabhupada, in this one purport, 10th chapter, 4th and 5th verse, he's explaining to us many, many very valuable truths that can help us understand whether we're in Krishna consciousness or not. At the same time, it gives us a deeper understanding of the transcendental qualities of Krishna. Okay, so then it says, then sama. Control the senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called sama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters, and those whose thinking is highly developed. Okay, so when it says that the mind should, one should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. Well, wait a minute. Everybody's thinking about how to earn more money. So how is society going to go along if nobody thinks about making money? Well, what he's saying is, so there's an English proverb that most people misquote. The misquote of it is, money is the source of all evil. That's not the proverb. The proverb is, love of money is the source of all evil. So there's a difference between money is the source of all evil. Wait a minute. If money is the source of all evil, you shouldn't accept any money, right? But no, it's the love of money. See, when you love something, you can never get enough of it. So if you love money instead of loving Krishna, it's actually bad. But if you love Krishna, it's actually good. You can never get enough love for Krishna. That's actually good. But you can never get enough love for money. That's actually bad, because you're going to be what you would call, you're going to be overly involved in trying to make money. And what happens is, when you die, you have $4 billion in the bank, and you go to hell, right? It's actually an embarrassment to have so much money in the bank. That means you're very greedy. You denied so many other people money. So for you to collect all that money, you're taking it away from other people, see? So it should not be collected and kept. If you collect it, you should distribute it. Otherwise, you're collecting other people's sins. Okay? So this is all contrary to everything people are following today. Right? They think the more money I have, the bigger person I am, the more successful person I have. But making a lot of money is not evil. But it depends on how you use it. If you just collect it. There was one man who was very greedy, and he never trusted anyone. He didn't even trust his wife and his kids. So he would, every time he would collect money, he would hide it in a big box that he put in the ground, and it was far away from his house. I mean, relatively far away. So every time he'd go to this secluded place in the forest, he'd dig up the box and open it and look at the rest of the money there, and then he would put the extra money in there, and then bury it again, and then cover it with leaves and twigs and things like that. So there was one dacoit that was living in that forest, and he noticed this man would come. Usually it was like once a month. And sometimes he would just go like this, ooh, 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 putting his hand where the box was, right? But not actually digging it up, right? Ooh, like that. So, the dacoit was watching this, and said, "What? There must be something there that gives him that ooh, 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 ooh." And then one time he saw him dig the box up and put something in it and then bury it. And then he said, "Oh, now I understand. There's something there." That's why he's going, ooh, ooh, ooh. So after he did that, the man did that, then he knew there was something there. So he went the next day and dug it up and he passed stool, after he'd taken all the money out and jewelry and everything, he passed stool in the box, right? And closed it and put it back down. So then a couple of times the man came and went, ooh, 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 like that, right? And then again, he had some extra money, so that time he dug it up, and when he opened it, he was shocked. There was stool there. It stunk really bad, and he instead of going, hoo, 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 he said, ah, ah, he started screaming as loud as he could, and, it was late at night in the dark, and there was nobody there. No one could hear him, but the dacoit was there, right? So the dacoit came toward him and said, "Sir, what's the matter? I was sleeping here, and I heard you making this noise. What's the matter?" He said, the box, it's empty. It's got stool in it." He said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah. I don't know what to do." He said, "Why don't you just bury it, and then you can come back and say, well, ooh, ooh, ooh." And the man looked at him. And then he realized, this is the guy that stole his money, right? And it was a dacoit, right? It was a very dangerous guy, you know. And the dacoit just laughed and walked away. So this is what, people do. They go to the private box in the bank, in the vault, right? They go, ooh, or like my crazy uncle is keeping the money under his bed, ooh. This is all. It's the love of money is the source of all evil. Money itself is not evil. It depends how you use it, right? Okay, so then there's sukham. Pleasure or happiness should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. That is sukham, or pleasure or happiness, right? Our happiness should be pleasing Krishna and Guru. That should be our happiness. It's not pleasing ourself through sense gratification. And then, therefore, anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. Next is bhava. Birth should be understood to refer to the body. As far as the soul is concerned, there's neither birth nor death. That we have discussed in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Birth and death applies to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about the future. A person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to the spiritual sky, back home, back to Godhead. Therefore his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know that what their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.37, it is stated, Bhayam dvitiya binivesata syat. Fear is caused by our absorption in the illusory energy. But those who are free from the illusory energy, those who are confident that they are not the material body, that they are spiritual parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality Godhead, and who are therefore engaged in the transcendental service of the Supreme Godhead, have nothing to fear. Their future is very bright. This fear is a condition of persons who are not in Krishna consciousness. Abhayam, fearlessness, is possible only for one in Krishna consciousness. So it explained what happiness is and explained what fear is. Next, ahimsa. Nonviolence means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. So, if you're going to correct someone, but you overstep your attempt and put your anger and your meanness into it, then you have caused misery and confusion in the person that you were trying to instruct. So you have to instruct with compassion. But you should not try and instruct someone who doesn't accept you as an authority or as like a guru. Because when you instruct someone, you're acting as a guru. If you instruct someone who's not your disciple, then most probably they're not going to accept what you say. If it's a disciple who's in good standing, but they made some mistake, then they'll accept your instruction as your loving attention for them, right? Because you're correcting them so they don't make mistakes in the future. Now, if the guru never says anything, that means he's not acting as a proper guru, right? Or he might not like the disciple, he's trying to get rid of the disciple, but that's not a good thing. No real guru would want to get rid of a disciple. They would want to help the disciple make spiritual progress. Unless disciple is purposefully disrespectful, then the disciple breaks the relationship with the guru. The guru doesn't break the relationship with the disciple, but the disciple can break the relationship of the guru by consistently disobeying the guru. Consistently, not just one time or 2 times or 3 times, but then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That means that he's not really a disciple anymore. He ushers himself out of the relationship with the guru. Right. Okay, next is ahimsa, nonviolence. Nonviolence means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians and the philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. What's the full realization of the human body? Is becoming Krishna conscious and using the body, the mind, the senses, everything in the service of the Lord. That's full utilization of the human body. So the human body is ignorance, but one who uses it in Krishna consciousness enlightens the ignorance of the body and makes it participate in the service of Krishna, right? So if we use the body only for sense gratification, then we're really anchored in ignorance. But if we use the body, the mind, the senses in the service of Krishna, then it become illuminated, right? Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commissions which do not further that end commit violence on the human body. That which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called nonviolence. This is beautiful explanations by Prabhupada. So, what happens when you don't use the body for spiritual elevation? You commit violence on the bodies. Well, the violence is right there in that panel, you see. People who take intoxication, engage in illicit sex, gambling, and gambling and speculation, intoxication, and illicit sex, and meat eating. Yeah. Then they violate themselves. They commit violence on themselves. And look at the statistics. You'll see. Millions of people are dying every year in the United States alone due to those 4 bad habits. Okay, we'll stop right there and finish this tomorrow. Are there any questions? So the theme of the verse today was cooperation, right? And we also continued to try and finish this purport, which shows the real good qualities of a devotee, and also implies many good things about the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
I the one question we can talk about tomorrow also, Maharaj, is that in this particular verse, let me go back to the verse. So there are some qualities where he talks about both sides, like the Lord says fear and fearlessness. But for some of them, he just only refers to one dimension of it, either one positive side or one negative side. So I'm just trying to understand why is that. Like for example, non-violence. He refers to non-violence, whereas
well, we understand what violence is. We don't understand clearly what fearlessness is. Because someone who's crazy can be fearless, right, and get themselves killed. Right? So fearlessness means that you have complete faith in Krishna, not that you're crazy and you do crazy things and get yourself killed. So we have to, violence, you understand what violence is, right? Someone's trying to kill you or someone's trying to hurt you. But fearlessness, like there are crazy people who are fearless. Does that mean they're spiritually advanced? No. So fearless means you have complete faith that Krishna is going to protect you. Therefore, you're not going to waver in your determination to spread Krishna consciousness. But at the same time, you're very tolerant because you know this is Kali Yuga and there are many people that are envious and mean. So you have to be careful. Not that you're fearless like the crazy guy, you know. You get yourself killed, you know. So, and we can talk more about that tomorrow. Okay.
Last question.
Yes.
About this again, the quality.
So write down that Hindi proverb.
I'll write down that. So about the qualities. So Maharaj, whatever the qualities we have as a human being, are those coming from Krishna only, right? All the qualities
Yes, he says that in this purport.
So is that
He said it in the beginning of the purport. He says that the different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here.
Okay, so the bad qualities also coming from Krishna.
Well, they're the opposite of the good qualities.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. But both, like good or bad, there are only two.
Everything is coming from Krishna. Yeah. Just like the demons are also coming from Krishna, right? But it's because they're ignoring Krishna or they're envious of Krishna. So everything depends on Krishna, good and bad.
Krishna,
Yeah. That doesn't mean Krishna causes the bad. It means that people who defy Krishna, they become bad.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, one question about that cooperation. So how a neophyte devotee will always cooperate? Like because sometimes it happens they are acting. The neophyte devotee is acting out of jealousy or puffed up because of some material skill.
Why do you say they will always cooperate?
Sometimes suddenly, like in some situation, they are not cooperative. Like generally they are
they
cooperative.
don't always cooperate.
So how a neophyte can be like always cooperative, not like
By
80%
being corrected and accepting the corrections of the mistakes they make.
But one neophyte cannot correct other because they will not accept the correction as well. So
that's the point. Someone who doesn't accept you as a teacher, you should not try and correct them. You should let the teacher correct them. Otherwise, you just get into an argument with that person. That happens all the time. Like, I'll tell you, I'm not going to say it today, but tomorrow I'm going to tell you a very good example of this that happens oftentimes in temples. But we'll leave that for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Haribo, all glories to Prabhupada. That's a good question. It has to be answered because many people make the mistake. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bandhu Adana Mate Janara Prasade Bhai He Bhava Toriya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite Shri Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Koriya Kya. Arana Koriya Mane Asa Arana Koriya Mane Asa Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati. Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asa Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asa Chakshudana Dila Jai Janme Prabhu se Divya Gyani de Prokasito Prema Bhakti Jahate Avidya Vinasajate Prema Bhakti Jahate Avidya Vinasajate Divya Vedika Janara Charito Vedika Janara Charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhana Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adhana Janara Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Lokena Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Kura Doya Deya More Padachaya Ebeyastu Sakti Bhuvana Ha Prabhu Kura Doya Deha More Padachaya Ha Prabhu Kura Doya Deha More Padachaya Ebeas Kusaki Bhuvana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Hari Bol Hari Bol Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajik Shasta Tarasatara Shishi Shimalis Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikoho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapura Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Jamuna Maya Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi All glories to the Samudvaras All glories to Samudvara All glories to Samudvara All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Guranga All glories to Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavan Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Haribol Here. Here. The lotus feet of our spiritual master, the only way by which we can attain the pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, we can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus lips. Attachment to his lotus feet is perfection and fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, ecstatic prema emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and Lord and master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread throughout all the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya. Namaste. Gora Premanandi